Okay, so let's look at this week's assignments. Week 10 assignments, of course, here is the Zoom link for the optional discussion section, which we are having right now. And I do encourage you to come to these sessions because afterwards I'll open it up and you can ask any questions that you might have of me. But I am posting the general announcements for the rest of the class as well. In any case, this is our Zoom session right here. All I'm going to do is just go over what is due this week. So beginning with the reading. In the reading, I want you to read the Chastine. And I'm not giving you a new chapter this week. What I want you to do is to read the sections on both chapters 6 and 7, the countercurrents at the end. Chapter 7, the countercurrents, has to do with the new immigration to Latin America. And that's a topic which is going to be of interest to you, especially in your paper, which is coming up. Chapter 6, meanwhile, has the countercurrents on international wars, which actually will help situate the struggle between Chile and its neighbors over nitrates in its international context. So if you go ahead and read these and be aware that these are important items that may be included in your paper coming up. So that is the first part of your reading. The second part of your reading are a number of primary documents that I have collected together for your perusal this week, with the hope that you will include at least 2 of them in the primary in the writing session. Sorry, let me start over. That you will include at least 2 of these primary documents that I'm giving you in your writing assignment number 2. You can see here readings for week of April 13th. Click on it, download it, open it up. Is the document. Primary documents on progress and modernity in late 19th and early 20th century Latin America. Probably not very catchy, but appropriate. The first document's actually from 1967, and it's just an excuse for me to give you Gabriel Garcia Marquez, an excerpt from his masterpiece, 100 Years of Solitude, published in 1967, which loosely allegorizes the history of Colombia over several generations of the Buendia family, who are located in Macondo, Colombia. So the first section has to do with Macondo being brought into the modern age and the reactions of the Buendia family to all these modern forces and foreigners coming into Macondo, this fictional village in Colombia, for the first time. A little bit of this is from chapter 11, but most of it is from chapter 12. And then I cut off here with the story of Remedios, the beauty. Okay, so as I was saying, this first document is from Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and it is about the coming of modernity to Macondo, Colombia. So that might be useful for you in your paper coming up. Document 2 is the interview James Creelman makes with Porfirio Diaz in 1908, where famously Porfirio Diaz says that he might be stepping down from the presidency. Document number 3 is a transcript of the Platt Amendment, this imperialist document of the Platt Amendment, which America inserted into the Cuban Constitution once they won their independence in 1901. There's a political cartoon of Teddy Roosevelt. And finally, the last thing is the manifesto published by Augusto Cesar Sandino, who was busy fighting against the U.S. Marines who were intervening in Nicaragua. Okay, so that's what's going on here. This is this week's readings, in addition to the readings from the Chastine. Okay, so that's your reading for this week, Chastine, and then this document packet, which I posted under course documents. Your lectures this week are, again, you can find them under week 10, and I've recorded a number of lectures on imperialism and progress in Latin America in the late 19th and early 20th century. You can find them all right here. There are going to be a couple more. They're still uploading onto YouTube. So if you check back in a few hours, as of the morning of April 13th, there will be more later on today. Going back to announcements. So that's your reading. Those are the lectures. Make sure that you're caught up on the lectures. I posted a number of lectures on modernity last week, which again is going to be helpful for you in your paper, which is coming up. So your deliverables, your actual homework for this week is the week 10 quiz. Okay, and as always, you can find that under assignments. Scroll down to the bottom and you will find week 10. Now, the other thing which is due for this week is an outline for your second paper, just the outline. All right, just put down some of the ideas that you want to write about, some of the things that you want to write about in your paper. Maybe what I would suggest for an outline, this is worth 10 points. What I would suggest for an outline is that you write your thesis statement, okay? And then make an outline detailing what the major points of each paragraph in the essay are going to be. So an outline, would have number A through E and put your main ideas next to each letter. And if you want to detail what you will be talking about in those paragraphs, you can put underneath the letter with the main topic for that paragraph some of the main ideas you want to address. So for instance, let's say your third paragraph is on modernity in Mexico. It would be C, modernity in Mexico. 1, the trains come to Mexico. 2, Porfirio Diaz becomes dictator of Mexico, ... That sort of thing. The sorts of things that are the main ideas and the main examples that you want to give in your paper. The prompt for the paper is dealing with modernity and progress and really setting us up for the next section of the class, which is going to be about Latin American nationalism and include discussion of the Mexican Revolution, the populist movement, and the Cuban Revolution in the 1960s. But before we get there, I want to totally understand what was happening in Latin America, which caused this convulsion of nationalism and even revolution, which occurs in the 20th century. So here's your writing prompt for essay number 2. Some people living during Latin America's quote unquote golden age, in other words, golden for some, not so golden for others. Some people living near Latin America's golden age in the late 19th century and early 20th century benefited from the tremendous economic growth that resulted from dramatically increasing the exportation of natural resources and cash crops. Because, of course, as we've seen, Latin America was on the producing side of the International Division of Labor, providing raw materials and agricultural goods to the rest of the world. So others, however, besides the elite, of course, did not benefit and in fact saw their situations deteriorate. Consider the situation of Latin America in the late 19th century, especially the introduction of modernity, the arrival of foreign capital and technology, and the increased cultivation of natural resources and cash crops. How did these historical changes affect the elite and the common people of Latin America differently? You must refer to at least 2 primary documents in your essay, and you will find it right here. I just put the essay prompt under assignments. And where you will go to turn in your outline is, of course, as always, assignments. Scroll down to the bottom, outline for second paper. View and complete will give you an opportunity to submit your paper right here. So that is what's going on this week. All right, we have our reading listed right here, lectures. By the way, as far as lectures are concerned, I will also be posting the outlines, which will help you see what some of the main ideas of each lecture are. Here, I can just preview really quickly what those are. Okay, well, with that being done, I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting here. And anybody who wants to can, of course, stick around. But the rest of you who are just watching this later on, have a good week.